Hello, everyone. This is City, and I am the Healthy Relationships Coordinator from WISE. And we are at our final workshop, number 7, for our 7-day or 7-hour healthy relationship and sexual violence prevention workshop program that we have here for our girls program here at WISE. And so I hope that everyone has gained a lot of insights and has learned how to facilitate successfully in the last 6 workshops. And so here we are at our 7th workshop, closing it off with the topic of You Have the Power. And the objectives for this workshop is to give the power back to the survivor and advocate to learn methods on preventing future sexual assault violence, provide them with different methods to help prevent sexual assault, and assisting friends who experience sexual assault, assisting or being of support to a friend who may have experienced sexual assault. And also promote healing modalities, seeking the self-growth, and mindfulness to become aware of the dangerous situations and feelings in your body that yells danger. I really do not like these. Okay. And so our objectives for today is to understand a general knowledge of what rape culture is, and to provide the participants with different methods of different. And the second one is to provide participants with different options that a survivor can take after an assault happens, and or assisting or supporting a friend who may have gone through an assault experience. And the third objective is to promote healing modalities and introduce different healing techniques and healing activities to increase the seeking of the self and to self-growth and to heal and become mindful of the ways that we can heal ourselves after something of that extent has happened to us. All right, so we always start with our values. Again, same values that we have been holding space for in these workshops. And I would ask the participants to really hold one dear to them for this last workshop, and to really use that one value that they're thinking of throughout the workshop, and to just keep it in mind and how it may help them through this workshop. For our last workshop, we would love to do a longer meditation, like a 5-minute meditation. We aren't doing any icebreakers today with the participants, but we definitely would love to do a longer meditation just to get us more into the zone. And so let's start by watching this video that talks about rape culture, and that can set the tone for what we will be talking about next.
Are you sure this was rape? Are you sure you just weren't too drunk to remember saying yes? I mean, you were all over him.
If you were drunk while sexually assaulted, you shouldn't put yourself in that situation again.
All men are rapists.
If a woman doesn't fight back, it isn't rape.
You've been going out with him for, I don't know how long, but you've definitely had sex, so you can't call it rape at this point.
If this were really serious, why did you take so long to report it? I mean, think about it. If you take this kid to trial and he doesn't get charged, everyone's going to think you faked it. Is that really what you want people to think about you?
So he wasn't found guilty, and there really isn't enough evidence to try him. So really, you might want to redefine what you think of as calling it rape, at least.
Women have been raped for so long that it is just going to continue, and it is just going to happen, and women have to deal with it.
If you're a woman, you can't commit sexual assault.
Come on, you're a guy. You love sex. It's not rape if you enjoy it.
Dude, you're a guy that you can't claim to be raped. That's not how that works. Don't make a mockery of it.
This is rape culture.
This is rape culture. This is rape culture.
Rape culture is the concept that sexual violence is common.
And there are prevalent attitudes, norms, practices, media, and institutions
That normalize, tolerate, or even condone rape.
anyone can be affected by sexual violence.
Your mother, your father,
Your sister,
Your brother, your friends,
Your teacher,
your boyfriend or girlfriend,
your future partner,
your best friend,
your family.
The people you care most about.
anyone.
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 But you can do something.
you can end rape culture by listening to a survivor's story.
Educating yourself.
Supporting survivors so that way we can end the stigma.
Joining an organization.
By eliminating the word slut from your vocabulary. By believing that guys can be raped as well. By teaching others how to build healthy relationships.
Being a part of the movement.
You can make a difference.
You can make a difference. You can make a difference.
You can make a difference. Anyone can make a difference.
According to a 2010 report from the Center of Disease Control, there are approximately 47,082,100 current U.S. civilians that have been raped and or sexually assaulted at some point in their lifetime. This number is greater than the total population of Spain and greater than twice the total population of Australia. In every 3 seconds, someone in the United States is sexually assaulted. In the time it took you to watch this entire video, about 180 people have been sexually assaulted in the United States alone. Imagine what the global rate is.
All right. And so we can ask the participants on what they felt about that video, if anything shocking came up for them, or anything surprising came up for them. One that I always like to mention is the one where, the population of people, or the number of people who are assaulted is in the U.S. is larger than Australia, or the size of Australia, and that is just something that I always find so alarming and so shocking, to put it in that scale. And so me as a facilitator would, if not mentioned by any of the participants, I would always bring that one up, just because of the shock factor of that and how that makes me feel. And so transitioning to rape culture definition, it is a culture in which sexual violence is considered the norm, in which people aren't taught not to rape, but are taught not to be raped. And there was a report in the UN that on rape attitudes in 6 Asian countries, and the report found that men would describe actions matching the legal definition of rape, having sex with a woman without consent, but wouldn't use the word rape. And this statement really just shows how embedded rape culture is in our society, whether it's in the US, whether it's in another country. It really has become a norm that people don't even realize that they're feeding into sometimes. And so this is a really important part for everyone to be informed and learn about what is and isn't healthy, or what is rape culture, to understand and to really break down these toxic culture, this kind of toxic culture that we live in, that sometimes we may not even realize that is there unless we are aware of it and learn about it and are informed about it. And this is an activity for the participants. What have you heard before on social media? And then there are some different comments in here. You as the facilitator can go through each one if you'd like, or you can ask the participants as a big group which one they've heard, and just allow students to chime in on what they've heard and maybe other things that they've heard. So this is really just a place to understand what the participants are hearing from social media and from other people, what they are maybe seeing on social media, and what they are seeing in their outside world. And yeah, really just to gauge what their knowledge is, and if they have an idea of what rape culture is, and what their awareness is on that. So yes, just having really meaningful conversations with them. And the next thing is to find out, how can we support someone as a friend who may have gone through an experience of sexual assault? First thing definitely is to listen and believe them. Survivors know who does believe them and who doesn't believe them, because they have gone through this kind of trauma. They really learn how to understand and watch people, and if they can tell from your gestures, from the way that you move your body, move your eyes, they can tell that you don't really believe them. And so as a friend, you really have to do your best to exert that out of you, that to make them feel and understand and know that you do truly believe them and that you do truly hear them. The next thing is to let them know that they have different options, and even if they don't choose the option that you may feel that is the best, you have to just respect their choice, because they are their own expert of their experience and of their safety, and you have to really respect that about them. And remind them that they don't have to report in this moment. Something like this that has happened to them is so traumatic that it's so hard to process sometimes right away, and to really think about just reporting it right away can re-traumatize them. So it's just a good reminder as a friend to let them know that they don't have to take that kind of action right away, and to just allow them to process everything that they're feeling. Next thing is to respect their confidentiality as a friend. If they come to you and tell you something like this, it takes courage to really tell someone. Really respect that risk confidentiality. Don't go around and start telling someone else, telling other people, saying that you're gonna go tell the cops. There's a difference between, like a teacher and student relationship where they are a mandated reporter, but as a friend, really just respect their confidentiality. Next thing is to really practice self-care. It is, very, very loving of a person to be a support and to be there for someone who has been through an experience like that. But also we have to know that withholding that responsibility of being there for a survivor, it also can weigh heavily on your heart. So just to make sure you take care of yourself and practice self-care for you. And here are options that a survivor can take. And so the first thing is they can report it. But we also have to be aware that we never know how the result of the reporting can lead up to, because sometimes even if someone report it, we never find the person who does it, or we never get the justice that we need. And so that's something that we also have to be mindful of when we do report, that we can't expect to receive justice 100%. There's always that 50-50 that something may not go forward depending on the evidence, depending on what they find. But I would say if someone feels strongly to report it, I would say 100% to have that person report it, and just see where that takes them. And we pray and hope that it will lead to justice. And another option is to take a sexual assault forensic exam, and that, a lot of people call it the rape kit. And so let's go into the website, RAIN, to kind of look at it. So let me do a new share. here, let me click on the website first. So let's go into this and let's do a new share so the participants can see our screen. And so we're just gonna, as a facilitator, if you feel like you have a good knowledge and a good memory of what a sexual assault forensic exam consists of, feel free to just say it and feel free to just explain it on the slide. But if you want to have a more depth and in detail explanation, feel free to go right onto the website and talk about it with the participants. So totally up to you, depending on your knowledge. And so really breaking it down for the participants, what is a sexual assault forensic exam? It is known as a rape kit sometimes, and it really is being able to take DNA evidence from a crime like sexual assault. And so you collect it from the survivors' bodies, their clothes, and their personal belongings. And they do not have to report the crime to have an exam. And that's a good thing to remind them, is that you can do the exam and you can report later if you choose to. And so it consists of just different things that they use to collect evidence, comb, bags, envelopes, etc. The providers who are doing the exam really would prefer the survivor not to go and wash anything or shower or change, that we really want to keep all of the items that they've had on them, the clothes, the belongings on them, so we can collect as much evidence as possible, even though there is a strong instinct as a survivor to go after a sexual assault experience, to go wash themselves and shower away what has happened to them. But it is really important to just keep that clothing on so we can collect as much evidence as possible in order to catch the perpetrator. And the exam can take a few hours, so just to for a survivor to be aware that it can take a few hours, and that it's not really a pleasant experience. You have to take off your clothes, there have to be pictures taken, there has to be swabs taken, so it could be re-traumatizing, honestly. So but it is really good for survivors to be aware, and for anyone to be aware of what a sexual assault forensic exam consists of. So when it comes down to it, if someone has to or chooses to do it, they are prepared with what is ahead of them. And yet there's a lot more information, and as a facilitator, I would just explain a little bit here and there, and you can ask the participants if they have any questions about it, if there's any other details that they would like to go more into for this information, for this option. And so if they don't, then you can just go ahead and go to the next one. So I will stop the share here, and then let me share back the PowerPoint screen. And so the next thing is to call a rape crisis line after this happens. The rape crisis line really is there, and there's advocates who are on the phone who will help guide the survivor on what steps that they want to take. They are there if you want to take a sexual assault forensic exam. They'll help give you guidance to the nearest hospital or clinic that you can take on this exam. They can guide you if you want to report it, ask you for your immediate needs, and just really be a support there to be there and give as much information and as much guidance as they can to a survivor. And another option is really to just tell someone until someone believes you or can protect you, whether it's a parent or a friend. Just telling someone and knowing that you are not alone and that someone supports you and love you can also be very, very important in the healing process, and helping that individual moving forward. And so with the healing process, we have to understand that sexual assault is something that should never happen to anyone, and it is never their fault. And here are some ways to help through the healing process. So some ways, and one of the most important ways to process healing or to process trauma is to really use art, to really express yourself and to let go of what has happened, and to really process your emotions. So writing a letter and burning it is a really cool way and a healing way to write everything that you feel and then burn it away to learn how to let it go. Another thing is to journal, to write down your thoughts, write down your emotions, write down your dreams and what you may be going through. Um, and visualization is kind of part of a meditation where you can visualize like your happy place. You can visualize yourself next to the ocean, on the in a nice green field, and really keeps you calm. And whenever bad feelings may come up or triggers may come up, if you practice this sort of meditation, you can always find that happy place in your mind. Another, well, the last thing that we will mention about the healing process is really to be around supportive and loving people. Sometimes when something like this happens, we really just want to isolate ourselves because we may feel unworthy, we may feel unworthy to be loved. And so it's really important to just remember to be around people that loves us and supports us. And so these last chunk of time, I would give around 25 minutes for this activity, is to allow the participants to participate in this healing activity that we have been reminding them to find the 5 photos of themselves in these past workshops. And so we are going to use Google Docs if this were to be virtual. You can do a physical paper, or you can print out photos, or you can, again, still just do it on the computer if it's a physical workshop. But we will post 5 photos in Google Docs, and we're going to write to our younger selves. So she really getting comfortable. She's smelling all my stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You better not eat nothing. You better not eat nothing, Mila. You better not. We're going to write to our younger selves. We're going to write a paragraph for each photo and state how old we are and what year in the photo. We can talk about the feelings that we had at that time for ourselves, whether they're good or bad feelings. What were we doing, or what were you doing? What are some things that happened to you? And always try to end the paragraph with something positive about themselves. And yes, we're going to give this chunk of time to let the participants reflect and write about themselves and the different time frames that they've chosen. And we can allow participants to share at the end as well. Or you can just have each participant, if they don't want to share, that's okay. If they want to send it in, that's okay. And we can allow everyone to read it. But yeah, we would love to have as many participants share as much as possible at the end. And so this is really the end of our 7-hour workshop. And so after this, everyone should be very informed and have a lot of knowledge around healthy relationships and sexual violence prevention, and just having that great knowledge of knowing what is and what isn't healthy. And so I just want to really thank you for committing to watching these videos and learning how to facilitate these videos so we can spread more awareness and more knowledge to our participants, to our girls and our women, and to anyone who wants and are going to be taking these workshops. And so we can create a better world and we can live more in peace and in love. So I thank you from WISE, and I hope you have a wonderful time facilitating these.